Siddiqa. His mother was Siddiqa. That's a big position as well. However, do not say they were gods. Why? For a very, very simple reason. This is the art of the Quran, putting very conceptual meaning in very simple sentences and words. Kana ya'kulan ta'am. They ate food. How can a god would need food? How is it possible for God to be in need of such a thing? So, do not say they were gods, but whatever you want to say about them, they are higher than what you do. This is like the hadith we have from our Aimma alayhi salam, who said, أَنزِلُونَا مِنَ الْأُلُوهِيَّةِ وَقُولُوا فِينَا مَا شِئْتُمْ. Bring us below uluhiyya, below being God. And then whatever you say, we are above it. As human beings, whatever you can imagine, you are above it. Just like here, as Isa and Maryam are mentioned. Do not say they were gods, but whatever else you want to think about them, yes, they were. They are. Now, this Siddiqa that Quran mentions, she had special qualities and received a special favor from God. When she was 12 or 13 years old, the angels came down to her. They spoke with her. Was she a prophet? No, of course she was not a prophet, but she was a Siddiqa. We have to solve this issue, that is it possible for anyone but the prophets to be in contact with angels? Where our Sunni brothers always blame us that you say things about your imams which takes them to the position of prophets. Well, we say whatever Allah has said about Maryam in the Quran, we say about the imams. Not more than that. Now, the angels went to her, spoke to her, gave her a special guidance, and she was not a prophet. إذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله اصطفاك وطهرك واصطفاك على نساء العالمين. God has chosen you, has purified you, and then chosen you after this, after the initial selection, purification. Now He has chosen you for that special mission of giving birth to Messiah. Masih. Ya Maryam, uqnuti li rabbik wasjudi warka'i ma'ar raki'in. And then she replied, she communicated. So if this is possible for a Siddiqa, why not for the bigger Siddiqa? As the Prophet, when he described Fatima, peace be on her, he said, Wallahi innaha lahiya al-Maryam al-Kubra. This is the bigger Maryam. And Mary, of course, she was a Siddiqa, but she was Siddiqa to Sughra. This is Siddiqa to Kubra. As her husband was as-Siddiq al-Akbar, the greatest of all Siddiqeen, below the prophets, of course, but the greatest of all Siddiqeen, her husband was Siddiq al-Akbar, and she was a Siddiqa al-Kubra. So, if this is the case, it shows, it means that these brand of people whom we call Muqarrabun, those who are brought close to God. Why? Because they have let themselves to be taken. Why we do not go close to God? Does God not love us, or He doesn't like us to go to His vicinity? No, we do not submit ourselves to His hands so that He takes us. They submit themselves and He takes them. We do not submit. That's why He asks us to submit. Because He wants to take us to a good place, just like if you want to do service to a bird, for example, to bring them out of a cage, they run away from you. They don't know that you are taken out of the cage and we run away from God. And He tells us repeatedly, submit, submit. I want to take you to my vicinity. I want to live with you. You want to live with me? No, you don't want to live with me, but I want to live with you. في مقعد صدق إن المتقين في جنات ونهر. في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر. Just beside that great king, you have to go and live. Now they submit, Allah takes them. Now there's only one question. And that question is, we know that some of these people have these qualities from birth. So how God choose them? What is this selection process? You know, for example, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, when he was in the cradle, when he was a baby, قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا. This is what he said. Allah has made me a prophet. He has taught me the scriptures. He was a baby. Maryam, she was only 10, 12 years old, receiving all these favors. Yahya alayhi salam, Allah mentions in the Quran very clearly, وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. He was a child, we gave him this hukm of being one of the Siddiqeen and then becoming one of the Anbiya. We gave him. Or take the example of Imam Al-Jawad alayhi salam when he was 7 years old. And he took the role of the Imam. And the opponents of Shia faith were quick to blame Shia scholars, Shia elders, that now you are ridiculing us. You follow a 7-year-old boy and you say this is our Imam. Now nowadays, of course, we have a sort of vague idea of who Imam Jawad was. He died at the age of 25, but we have the idea of an Imam. Not a boy, not a child leading us. Now you put yourself in the shoes of those scholars like Ali ibn Ja'far, who was the uncle of his father, and very, very respectable Shia scholar who had to follow this 7-year-old boy. And he was criticized here and there. Why you do this? You are his father's uncle. He was the uncle of Imam Reza alayhi salam. And whenever Imam al-Jawad entered, after he assumed the role of Imam, this Ali ibn Ja'far just stood in politeness before him like a servant. And when he wanted to leave, he put his shoes before him, kissing him, serving him. And they said, why you do this? He's just a 7-year-old boy. Why you have this idea of that this is the Imam, I have to follow him? And he said, look at my beards. I have, of course, grown these as white as you see in Ta'atullah. I have been an obedient servant of God. I have tried to follow the Quran, the Sunnah of the Prophet. But what can I do? Allah has not chosen me, has chosen you. Should I not submit? Should I not submit? That is why you see that the most difficult questions and the most elaborate questions and munazarat are made with Imam al-Jawad. Because they said, he's a child, let us test him. Let us test him. So you see in the history, in the presence of Ma'mun and in other places, the ulama came, they used to ask him questions, very, very difficult questions of fiqh, of theology, and he used to ask them, why? What was the reason? Because it was this idea that he cannot lead, he's just a child. Now, This is not unprecedented, of course.